Alrighty, well, we are going to get started. Obviously, we're going to be doing cash course, budgeting, how to track your money, and I have plenty of questions I'm going to be asking you as we go through here. Most of you already know me, Eddie Kurganall, everyone knows me, so I don't have to worry about that. But what I would like to do is before we get started, for you to introduce yourselves, because you might not know each other. So, we'll start with Cody.
Hi, my name is Cody Ball Anderson. I'm a social work major.
Hey Cody.
Hey.
My name is Tom. I'm a biochemistry major.
I'm Janetta. I'm a respiratory therapist.
My name is Kian Roberson. I'm a nursing major.
I'm AJ and I'm a biology major.
We got a lot of science related majors in here. So, well, my first question I like to ask before we actually get started in the material is how comfortable do we feel about budgeting? Do we feel pretty confident? So we know, okay, tell me about it. Tell me why you feel comfortable about it.
Why? Because I know what I can spend per week and I keep track of that.
You're keeping track of it.
So whether you go over or stay under, you still, as long as you set a goal to reach, to stay at, that's how my budget works.
Okay.
Because I don't work, I just get a chunk of money here and a chunk of money there.
So you got to make it count.
That's right.
Okay. Now, how many of us would say that it's not our best area, potentially, budgeting? Okay, AJ. And why is it not?
I just have troubles keeping track of how much money I spend or how much money I spend on going out to eat or just
Okay.
gas or how much I'm getting after I get my paycheck from my work and then how I can budget that and I just don't keep track of my money very well. But
Okay. And what is your kryptonite? What is the one thing, your weakness, the one thing that you just love to buy, that you know that you probably shouldn't, but you do?
Going out to eat.
Going out to eat, that's a big one, absolutely. Food. And so, I've known a lot of people through the years who make really good money, but they live paycheck to paycheck. And it's because of these type of spending habits. My mom's, ex-husband, one of the things that he did was he loved eating out. And they went to go to Corral all the time. Every day they're going to a really nice restaurant, spending 20, 30, 40 bucks here and there, plus leaving big tips. We did 1 month where we actually added up how much he spent, and he was somewhere around close to $1,300-1,400 a month.
Yeah.
Just eating out.
Yeah.
Just eating out. It's crazy. So a lot of that money, that's where it was going. And so I always look at it as, I love budgeting. I've always been really into this. I started saving at a really young age. I like to invest, and so I think having control under your budget is going to allow you to do things that others can't. For example, some students, if they're really frugal, they don't have to work as much while they're in college compared to someone else that has maybe more expenses, and they're working 40 plus hours a week plus going to school. I was always able to work part-time when I was in school, largely because I lived cheap. Really cheap. And so we'll talk about that and we'll debate some stuff and whether or not we agree. So, why care? Why should you care, when it comes to budgeting? Most of the time, people get distracted or discouraged, from, saving and trying to budget. You have one bad day when it comes to eating out or buying some clothes and you feel like your budget has been completely shot and so you kind of give up. How many of us would say that we've encountered that before? So we've tried it. It didn't work out so well, so we've moved on. And so what you're going to have to learn is that you should care, and that it is possible to reach those goals. It doesn't mean that you're not going to make mistakes, what happens if you do make a mistake?
Just keep trying.
Yeah, just keep trying to start over.
Keep going.
Yeah, it's going to happen. One of the things that you're going to find out is you can be doing all the right things, and then what happens? Your car breaks down, and there you go. There's the budget. Trying to fix a car. And so, but what you can be doing is planning ahead and actually be thinking about those potential emergencies and create your emergency fund. So we'll look at some of this, some of these handouts that I gave you. So first, let's look at budgeting. Now, I did not turn off this worksheet. I use a different one. Now, Cash Course uses Budget Wizard, which is really good. It does help you break down all the various expenses. The one that you have, if you look at it real fast, is make a budget. I got that from consumer.gov. I think it's a really good one. I like using it. I'm sure Budget Wizard is just as good. This is just one that I personally use myself. And what I like about it is the fact that one obviously has various things broken down, your expenses and how you can plug in your numbers. This is actually in a PDF file. So, if you go to Google, just type in consumer.gov, just put, make a budget, you'll find that, that worksheet there. You can plug in all your stuff and it does the math for you. That's what I like about it, is that, you're not gonna have to add or subtract. You just put in your numbers, and at the very end, which is on the second page, you will see that it'll give you the total, of how much, you have left, after you put in, how much money you make, a month. It'll show you how much you have left. What's that?
What's the name of it again?
Well, on the back of it, at the very bottom, it'll say consumer.gov. So that's where you want to go for that one. Now, obviously, you can go to Cash Course. They have their own, which is on Budget Wizard, which is also really good. But let's look at some of these expenses real fast. So let's think about, expenses. So if you will, let's go through here real fast, just a couple things. Let's look at specifically food. Food tends to be the issue. We've already kind of mentioned it. So let's look at that. Groceries and household supplies. Give me an example of about where you feel like you're at on that. Ballpark. Doesn't it? And you can write it down on your deal if you want as well. So just kind of give me a ballpark. I'm gonna go with Cody. Put you on the spot. $75 a month.
Yes.
Okay. What can you get for $75? So what do you eat? Give me some examples of, like, when we're talking about, okay, I'm spending $75, what type
I eat a
of
lot of
items?
chicken.
Okay, what type of
Yes.
chicken?
Baked chicken, grilled chicken.
Okay,
Just, I love chicken.
okay,
And it's part of my diet, so.
okay. I was thinking, noodles,
No,
$75
I
a
don't
month.
like noodles.
Okay.
Ramen noodles,
Yeah.
no thank you.
I lived on them. That's how I was able to say, I ate that, and I used to actually get some, like, Polish sausage. I'd chop it up and throw one of them in there with the noodles. That was a gourmet meal for me back then.
They have no nutritional value.
No, lots of sodium. Well, it wasn't
Yes.
healthy, but,
My
it was
blood
cheap.
pressure's already high enough.
Okay. AJ, let's put AJ on the spot. So, give me a ballpark of what you feel like you spend on groceries.
Well, considering that I live with family, I don't really have to buy groceries.
Okay.
But I buy like snacks like for in between classes, so I spend like about $25 a month.
Okay. What about eating out? That's where it really comes. It's sin. I'm guilty. I'm guilty of it. So I like eating out. It's faster, and if you're really busy, you're on the go. Sometimes it's a lot easier to stop by, get a burger or something, and go to the next job or before class or whatever. The Lion's Den, that can add up pretty quick. So give me an example of a budget on eating out. It's okay to embarrass yourself. So I know Cody because we talked earlier. Tell him how much you spend about a month.
$10.
$10.
Seriously, I
So-
go out to eat one time a month. That is it.
Okay.
CC's pretty much.
Okay.
Just splurge a little.
Okay. Kian, put you on the spot here.
I calculated all mine together just for the fact that I don't really, so all mine together be 60, just because like my friends want to go out, but I would just be going there for social reasons, not so much I want to eat anything, because I feel like I have the calf. It's not free. I'm paying for it for tuition, but it's free to me.
Okay. Okay. Really?
Total, I always hit the 150.
Okay. So far, you've hit the number. You have a higher number there. So what do you buy food on? Well, what type of items? What's your deal? What do you eat?
I want organics.
Okay, organic food. Okay. Healthier, costs more, but healthier. Okay.
I've always been about, I'll say around what she says, 60, 65.
Okay. Okay. I, with my wife and our son, we're kind of in around that 300 and something range, generally in that area. So yeah, it adds up. A lot of milk. I buy milk all the time. So I mean, it's just we normally go to between 2-3 gallons a week at least. So he loves milk. So give him plenty of that. Milk's expensive. It drives me nuts. I never drink milk, but he loves it. So okay, so let's look at a few other things real fast. So if you look on that second page on the back of it, let's look at school cost. I mean, you can certainly look at that if you wanted. I mean, tuition and so forth. Now, I generally would not put a lot in there in the fact that, I mean, if you're getting Pell and that stuff, I mean, I don't know. I guess I wouldn't, really put a lot of that stuff down there unless it was cash specifically coming out, my bank account on there. And then medical expenses, I mean, everyone's different on that. Sometimes you may not have any medical expenses, or you may have some. I think most college students are not going to be donating a lot of money for donations there. Entertainment, that is where, you know, my kryptonite, that's where it's at, entertainment. I like buying movies. I buy movies. You know, I have 12, 1,300 movies at my house, you know, so I got quite a few I've collected through the years. I used to have a lot more, but I actually I used to have a lot of VHS. I had over 600 and something VHS, and so I gave that away. I gave that to some with my wife's school, some people that wanted. I gave some there. I gave a lot of them to my wife's mom. It was when we moved up here, because I didn't want to have to lug them all the way up here. So now I've got all DVDs pretty much. So entertainment. Give me some examples of what you spend for entertainment a month.
10.
So,
Like 10, I guess. If
Okay,
a movie
$10?
costs, does a movie cost $10 or does it cost 12?
well, it
Depends
depends
where
on
you
the movie. Yeah, depends on
Depends
the
where you
movie.
go. Web City $7, $12 here.
Okay, I would say between whatever that is, because I don't even go to the movies every month, but
Okay.
that one moment, like if I'm like, oh, you want to go to the movies with me? Not really, but sure.
I used to
So-
come here for the free movies.
Yeah,
Okay.
same.
That's good.
I don't ever get, no, I haven't rented movies for a while, so.
Okay.
I don't get to watch much TV because I'm usually studying, so,
Mhm.
or working, so.
Now the reason why I mention this is because a lot of us sometimes we try not to think about this. You know, I mean, we know that we're spending money on various things, but a lot of times we don't want to think about it. And more importantly, we don't want to write it down, because when you write it down, it's more reality. And so that's kind of the exercise of this, is to get you at least thinking about what you're spending. And one of the things that you should potentially do is actually, when you leave here, maybe go and find this, you know, through consumer.gov, or you go, you know, to Cash Course, you use a budget wizard, create your own budget, you know, and then, you know, each month adjust it. You know, you may even start tracking your expenses, writing it, you know, keeping track of your bills. You know, also maybe, you know, most of you probably use your debit card for the most part purchasing. So you can look at your statements, see what you're spending, break it down into, okay, this is all food related items, this is all entertainment related items. So that way you actually have a concrete number. Because sometimes, you know, you may actually think that you're spending less when you're actually spending a lot more. You know, and that's why a lot of people don't want to do it, because they don't want to, you know, see that. And I know, and I do this from time to time. You know, every once in a while, normally once or twice a year, I will spend 1 month where I go and I keep every single receipt. I write down everything. I have a little log that I keep, and I track all my spending for every single thing. And then I will try to adjust my budget accordingly. And you know, so normally I do it 1 month, and then I just try to follow that, you know, for the remainder of the year. Now when I was a lot younger and I was in college, I was crazy obsessive. I wrote every single down. I still have stuff from 1999. You know, I still have some books that have all my receipts and stuff and things I wrote down. So I don't throw things away. So, all right. So you don't have to be that obsessive about it. So fixed expenses. That's the next things that we're going to focus on. These are items that, you know, every month is most likely going to be about the same price. Something that, you know, every month, and like on that worksheet you saw, you know, rent or a mortgage. You know, you can expect a certain amount every single month that you're going to have to pay. Now, here are some examples. Housing. So let's think about, you know, how much, and you don't have to tell me, but maybe you write it down on this sheet or something about your housing expense, what it averages out to. So, I mean, I don't know, Joplin area, what, rent, you know, for maybe a 1 or 2 bedroom would be what, somewhere around 500, 400 something, 500, give or take?
650.
650, okay, okay.
Maybe 10 years ago in Joplin.
Okay. I live, you know, like about 50 minutes from here. I live by Grove. So, you know, we have a mortgage. Our mortgage, so for our mortgage and our house insurance and our property taxes, because it's all in one bill, you know, because we go to the bank, it's $434 a month. And so, because you normally can get it cheaper if you're, you know, basically going through a bank and buying a house.
It's cheaper to buy than it is to rent,
Yeah.
by far.
Yeah, and so that's where I'm at on there. So be thinking about where you're at, and then ask yourself, you know, do you like where you're at? Are you paying too much, or do you feel like you're getting a good deal for that price? You know, and do you have to live, you know, in a place where you pay $700 a month, let's say, or is there something that's, you know, okay? You know, I don't want you living in the ghetto or anything, but can you potentially save a little bit of money by living somewhere else? Or would it be cheaper to live on campus? In some cases, some people could argue it would, some would say that it's not. I mean, can you find a place that's all bills included? I don't know. I would know that when I was in college, my wife and I, we lived in married student housing. Now they had that at a couple colleges that we were at. I remember when we first moved in, now this is like 2001, we were paying, I think it was $275, all bills paid.
Yeah, that was a good day.
Yeah, it was nice. It was nice. It wasn't fancy. It kind of reminded me of a prison because all the walls were brick. But hey, it was okay for $275. Eventually, it went up to $300, and I was complaining. I was like, man, $300. And so yeah, but it worked for us. It allowed us to live cheap. A lot of times, whatever we had left in Pell and so forth, we'd apply that towards that. So we really didn't have to worry necessarily about coming up with $300 every single month because a lot of our scholarships and other things, cover that. And so some other stuff, tuition. Even though I don't really think about that, so much if you're getting Pell Grant and that stuff, scholarships. It's probably hopefully going to take care of it itself. Utilities. You do need to be thinking about how much you spend in utilities every month. And what is a utility? Give me some examples.
Water bill.
Electric bill.
Electric bills, because some people will
Gas
say,
bill, water bill,
a
garbage
phone.
bill.
Some people say a phone is a utility bill. Because that's something. You don't have to have that. It's good to have it. Convenient. So you said gas, water, electric, and can you pretty much gauge how much you're going to spend each month for the most part?
Yeah.
Electric now, it varies a little bit depending on how hot it is or how cold it is, and when they change the rates and stuff a little bit, which drives people nuts, including myself.
How do they get away with that legally? The gas company raises the rates in the winter, and the electric company raises the rates in the summer. Yeah.
They make money, and when we moved over the summer, that was one of my concerns when I'm thinking about my budget, because I knew how much I was paying, where I was at, around the Galena area, but I had no idea how much it was going to be because of the new electric company down there, and so I was a little concerned, and I'm still watching that to kind of see what I'm most likely going to be paying. I'm actually paying slightly less, which is kind of surprising. I didn't think it was going to be that, but I'm paying more in water. So I don't know, they get you in the end. So now cell phone, that may be a fixed expense. You can expect what it's going to be every single month. I don't necessarily know if you have to have a phone. I do think you probably need a phone, but it's not necessarily have to. Now I can tell you with our two phones, now I don't have any fancy plan. It's $74 a month. That's all with the taxes and everything for two phones. And so now I have seen others who spend like $400 and $500 a month on phone bills. Now, why would that be?
Because they have so many phones on their plan.
Lots of phones.
And
so
then they
forth.
go for the expensive ones where you're still paying.
All the data.
All the data, it adds up. And so if you're spending $300 or $400 a month on the phone, ask yourself, what could you be doing with that money? That's a fair amount of money, a year. So
That's a lot.
yeah, it is.
Man.
Absolutely. And so variable expenses, these obviously vary. The price will fluctuate on how much you spend. Now some of it, and you may not necessarily need some of these. Books. Do you have to buy books? I'm not talking about textbooks.
Oh, you're not talking about textbooks?
I'm talking about when you're out there, and you're doing some shopping. Do you have to buy books?
Yes.
Okay. Now,
Yes.
what would be an alternative, to not buying books?
E-books. Still buying books.
Still buying. Library.
Library.
Go to the library. That is an option, for the people that don't want to spend the money.
Have you been to our public library?
Isn't it? Well, when I lived in Galena, you should see that library. It's basically non-existent. There's hardly anything there. I would say this library is a little bit better than that one, but we also have a library here, and you can always get books here.
Books by loan.
Also,
Yeah.
something I've noticed is when I went to Books a Million, I've realized that people sat down and was reading the books.
That's
so.
me. That's
Yeah.
what I do. I don't buy. I go there and I sit there for hours, just reading it. So, and one of the things I used to do when I was in college, because I'm cheapskate. So I'm studying and I need a break. So my wife and I, we only lived a couple miles away from Walmart. Drove down to Walmart, got a quarter pop because that's back when it was a quarter. But it was the Walmart brand that you could get. and we would drink a pop, and we would basically just go over there and sit on the floor where the magazines are, and I'd read the magazines. Yes. And I'd read them, and then we'd go back home, then I'd study some more. I mean, we probably made 3 or 4 trips to Walmart just doing that, because I was not going to spend money. And so, that's except for the quarter pop, and normally only got one, for
Sure. We go to Sam's Club for samples on Saturdays.
Yeah, you go to Sam's Club, sample, yeah. A lot of people go there. Gifts, celebrations, gas, or transportation. I mean, that is something that if you commute, I mean, you're going to be spending gas money. I know, Joanna, you probably spend gas money, because you have to drive a little bit. And so now the good thing is prices actually have gone down. A couple years ago, not so much. I was used to paying, $3 a gallon almost all the time. And so, with it being just around $2, I feel like I'm getting a great deal.
Yeah, I did, but I don't know if it's just because I just got my first car, but I'm just looking at the prices and compared to Georgia, it's low. But I'm slowly seeing the prices increase.
Yeah,
Like,
sure.
Well, we're close to Labor Day, so
Huh?
They went down
it
today.
did to what?
Yeah, 202.
Okay, good.
209, yeah. I have never lived in a city or anywhere where gas prices change daily. I've never seen that before. This place kind of boggles my mind.
In Georgia,
'Cause they paid the same amount for it out of the big tanker. So
But, if you are on a budget, when when gas price changes 10 or 15, 20 cents, you're probably going to feel it just a little bit in the budget potentially. Really? Yeah.
I said for $1.
Okay.
Because I travel a lot, so I'm like, I always have to eat for huge difference.
Yeah. Absolutely. And so you have to be mindful of, what's going on with that.
absolutely.
And with me driving now, because I live about 50 or so miles, about 50, 55 miles away, I've got to think about that a lot more, about the gas price, so I've got to be aware of it. And I've also got to look around and try to plan when I get gas because, depending on where you live, it may be higher. You may be 10, 15 cents more, especially, if you're in a smaller town. So you've got to really kind of plan about when should you fill up and where should you fill up. Have a couple options there, so that way you can get the better price. So now, how many people actually really, truly pay attention to this probably? Think about your friends, people you know. Do they really pay attention this close when it comes to this stuff? Would you agree? Not you necessarily, but the people you know.
I notice they don't.
Yeah,
They just
the majority of
keep
people
spending.
don't. They don't pay attention to that. I mean, maybe it's just not that big of a concern to them. And that's fine. If you can pay for it and, you're not, getting behind your bills, then that's okay, I guess. But if you want to be a little bit more, independent and not have to rely, like my mom, and we grew up poor. We did not have money. It was a struggle every month, no matter what. There was no way of saving or anything like that. We didn't have extra money to save. But a lot of our relatives did have money, and they blew that money pretty quick. And so. I always think about my wife, her sister and husband. They make good money. He makes like $37, $38 an hour. He gets plenty of overtime. If it's he works on electrical lines, so if it's raining, he gets triple time. So it's he makes good money. He never went to college. Basically got a trade. He makes great money doing it. It's not easy work working on electrical lines. He's a foreman, so he's been there a long time, good union and so forth. But he probably brings in 80, 90-something thousand a year because of his overtime that he gets as well. A wife, she makes, maybe 25 or so thousand a year or whatever. But between them, they are almost always broke. They live paycheck to paycheck. Now, it used to be that it was because they have kids. That's the excuse. And hey, kids are expensive. There's no question about it. But their kids are grown now. They don't live in the house. They're still living paycheck to paycheck. And so, now they recently, maybe it's about a year ago, they went to Alaska. They went on a nice little trip, and they're big into hunting. And they were telling me that they spent over $5,000 just on permits to hunt certain type of animals.
Yeah.
So, that's a lot of money. Now, hey, they make good money. They can do whatever they want with it. But you can see that I don't know if they're necessarily thinking about retirement and planning for that. Now, he has a good retirement system and so forth, but he's dipped into that retirement system to buy little toys that he likes. So one was like, one of those they're kind of like, they remind me of a go-kart, I mean, but they're like off-road vehicles or whatever.
UTV.
Yeah, he spent $20,000
Yeah.
on it, and he had to borrow from his retirement, take it out of his retirement, so he took a big
Kind of
penalty on
buy.
that. What's that?
Kind did he buy?
I don't know, this is years ago, I mean, and he had to drive to Arizona to get it.
Yeah.
First day he got it back, he ended up wrecking it, so it had a big old dent in it.
Yeah.
So, on there, so, happens, so I say be careful, and I know that you have it.
Does he like own any other houses? Like, is that where his money is going towards? So
Well,
I understand if you like.
They
or
bought a
when you-
house, which they still own and have, more, they're trying to sell. And then they bought another one, so they've got, basically a huge, payment because they still haven't been able to sell the first one.
Mhm.
And so, because they don't basically pay one off before they go to another one. They just buy another one and then, try to borrow more money to try to pay off that one, and then they try to sell it, but they've been trying to sell it now for like 6 years, 5 or 6 years. So it's a bit of a mess, how they do that. I would say more, impulsive spenders. I mean, if they want something right then there, they got to get it. They can't wait. And hey, a lot of people are like that. If you want it, you got
Welcome to our
to.
society.
Yeah, yeah,
Seriously, I mean, you know, easy credit card there to get.
yeah. So one of the things that we have to think about is the reality check. And that is basically coming, to terms with our spending. Now that doesn't mean that you can't spend money and do good, have fun, do things or whatever. But you should always at the end of the day, try to think about it as, do I really need to do this or not? At least have that in mind as you're, planning this. So, for example, choices. So lots of choices on what you can do. So, for example, cell phone. Is that a choice?
That's really, I mean, almost in today's society, it's a necessity.
Yeah, it's
I mean, some of
becoming
my
every
classes
day.
have texting that I have to have to get the messages from my class.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, I have to have it because of my job.
Yeah, I've been thinking,
Quite
I'm gonna
frankly,
say,
they
you
got
know
me
what,
called,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Now, here's the next question about that. They have so many different plans for
Well,
phone.
yes.
Now,
I only use
do
the
you
straight
need
talk for
do you need
$25.
internet on there? Do you need the biggest data plan that they have on there? I mean, those are the questions that you have to start asking. It's not necessarily the cell phone itself, it's what type of plan that you have on there. That is where you've got to really start thinking about. And how many would say that currently you spend at least around $100 on your phone? No one here.
I spend $45 a month.
Yep, same.
Straight talk.
55 is what
I
I
spend
spent.
a lot.
Okay, so that's within reason. Now I have it now. One of the things I encounter, this is not necessarily referring that really affects you, but I know people who not only have a phone, but they have phones for like their kids and all this stuff, and so they're spending $500 a month on this. I mean, okay,
So I have 2 people in my
okay,
brothers in my.
and that gets a little bit harder. Doesn't necessarily mean that you shouldn't do it. It just means that you are placing slightly more of a burden on yourself in doing that.
So, and well, a lot of people nowadays, so you have to consider internet expense. People who use their phone, they don't have a computer anymore. They don't have to pay for the price of internet in their home.
Yeah.
So that there's a balance there.
Yeah, and think about this. There is a balance in the way that, most people back in the day, you always had a home phone.
Yeah.
Now, now it really sucked for me because when I lived in Galena, I lived on the outskirts and I didn't get a signal, where I lived, so I had to have a house phone and my cell phone, which drove me insane. But now, at the new place we live, I don't have to have the house phone anymore. I can just go back to my cell phone. So that saves me some money right there. So that's one thing that you can look at. Bus pass. Who has to have a bus pass? I don't know if anyone has to have a bus pass or not. Okay.
Trolley pass.
Okay. How much you spend?
15
15 for how
a
much?
month.
Oh, 15 a month. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
If you
Yeah.
have
that's-
any
that's
type
not
of
bad.
disability or anything, they cut it in half. For
Okay.
everybody else, it's 30.
Okay.
So,
So hey, that's pretty good.
yeah.
So that's not a bad expense, and I would say that's a necessity right now as an expense. DVDs, my weakness. That is my weakness.
Why would you buy them and you just steal them off the internet? I
I'm anti-technology.
I'm
That's
watching
my
Netflix,
problem.
okay, there's another thing I do that
Yeah,
I spend, but it's not that bad, it's only $9.99 a month,
Okay.
so $9.
Sure. I also have
$10.
Netflix, but I don't
Now,
have cable. I don't
The
pay
question
for any other-
is
that's
that
entertainment.
necessary? Do you
No,
have to have
because
that?
that's how I can watch my movies, because
Okay.
I don't watch anything else.
Okay.
But I don't even watch that all the time, but
Yeah. But is that, because I want you to start thinking about the concept of needs versus
It's
wants.
not necessary, all that stuff is available.
I
in
think
each
it's
Nothing
a
wrong with it.
relaxation, so you
Okay.
got all in
So
one.
you have to have it, or you will basically go on edge and just
Yeah.
basically be mean to
Yeah.
everyone.
See,
So-
or I'll start acting like Socorro.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
So that
what-
means that we should all be chipping in and paying for your bill. So, all right. New boots. Do you need new boots? I don't know who need new boots or not. Or shoes, whatever. So,
Depends.
okay. And now the question is, because I'm guilty of this myself, I probably have about 6, 7, 8 pairs of shoes at home, just myself. So do I really need that many pairs? Probably not. Now, I have some shoes I still wear that I've had since 1997, and they look brand new, almost. Yes.
Oh my God.
I have
So
two
take
pairs.
care of your stuff. That's the.
Well, I have 2 pairs and some thongs.
Cable TV. Do you really need cable TV?
Yes.
Not when you have Netflix.
No, not when you have
I need
Netflix.
Wi-Fi for school.
I need cable TV because of Fear the Walking Dead and The Walking Dead. It's a
Yes.
necessity as a result of that.
Those
So-
are all on Hulu,
Yes.
Yeah, I could, but I'm anti-technology, and so that's my problem.
so it's costing you money.
It is. So internet, manicures, magazines, books. I mean, really the idea is to start making you think about what is it, a need, what is it want. Now, it doesn't mean you have to get rid of it, but you should at least be aware of that, what it is and stuff. So, you have this handout as well. So what I'd like for you to do for a second, just for a second, write down at least 1 or 2 things that you consider, a need. And then maybe, 1 or 2 things that you consider a want, in your budget, what you buy. So, because what I want to do is and put the cost like they have on there, and then what is an alternative to the want. So, I know my biggest thing is movies. I know that, when it comes to my want, I know that. That's
You go
really
buy them right
my-
when they come out too, right when they're $20 a pop.
I'm getting better in that. What I like to do, because I try to find my alternative. So now, if it's one movie that I'm just impatient, I have to have,
Oh, yeah.
I'm spending the money.
Yeah.
But if it's something that I like, but I feel like I can wait for, I go to Family Video, because after a while they sell you
Yeah.
the used one,
Yeah.
and you can get a pretty good deal for
Yeah.
those. And so I do that quite a bit.
Mhm.
And I've gone to pawn shops. A lot of my movies I have, I bought at pawn shops,
Mhm.
because you can get some good deals there.
Can. Yeah.
So I love going to the pawn shops to get movies. So, and I used to have a friend back in the day that worked at one of the pawn shops, so he always gave me like a special deal, on that. So there's a lot of movies I got for free.
Hey,
That's
you used to
what it's
do that too. You go and you line up like 30 of them. You say,
Yeah.
I'll give you half price for all of these.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
You got to be willing to ask, try to bargain with them,
Yeah.
negotiate. So okay, let's think about this. So I am going to pick randomly, Janetta. Yeah. Yes. Give me the first one. A need. What is a need?
Food,
Okay. What's your cost?
probably around 60.
Okay.
I ever seen.
Okay. So that is a need. Give me a want. Something that you want.
Well, like Netflix, I guess.
Netflix. Okay. But what I'm proud of now is that you're not seeing it as a need. You're seeing it as a
Well,
want.
I know
now.
it's not.
Now,
it's
you still
not
want
a
it and you're
need.
still
But
gonna
I
use it.
Yeah, I still want it, but I just want, but I still say that if I didn't have it,
And do
I
you?
wouldn't have nothing to do.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
To read. Library.
Well, I do read, I read a lot anyway.
And one
so
thing
I have
to
do
consider
it.
as your alternative here, they have movies here on campus that you can rent, that you can check out for free here.
Yeah, but have you seen them?
They're not good.
Yeah,
I wasn't going to go into the details about how
Be
bad they
realistic.
are, but there's maybe one or
I
two.
have been to some colleges though that had some really great selections.
Yeah, I used to with the OU before, big selection. Some of the other places I went, they had a lot of good documentaries. I love documentaries, so I was just loading up on that. Okay, Cody, example of both of them, needs and a want.
I would say internet for a need.
Okay, because of
School.
school. Okay.
Yep. And a want. Shoes.
Okay.
I like having shoes that match every outfit.
What's the alternative then to the want? Maybe
Oh.
cardboard, duct tape, make your own shoe.
Oh, no, thank you.
Be MacGyver in a way, kind of create your own.
Barefoot.
Okay, sandals, they're cheaper. They'd be bad in the winter time, but it is
Yes.
cheaper. So, okay. Well, let's see here. Brayley, I've got to throw you in here on there. What do you think? Okay. And, so, what is a want?
I really want an Apple
Okay.
Mac. Because it's expensive.
Yes. Now, my question would be what's the alternative to that?
Buy like a, I already have one, but.
Okay.
I want the Apple Mac.